9:01 a.m. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607 #. Audio capabilities are listen only and offered on a best effort for the public. Our meeting is also live streamed, and you can join us online by going to our website. Other viewing options are available at tctvonline.com. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute your phone when your agenda item is ready to be discussed. For those joining via computer, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera when your agenda item is called. All others must remain muted with their cameras turned off. Thank you. Public comment. Those intending to provide public comment to the board may attend in person or email submissions to the public comments email on our website. Public comments received by 12 p.m. on Tuesday will be distributed to the board, posted online before the meeting, and become part of the public record. You may also provide public comment virtually by registering ahead of time. To register, please email public comments by 12 p.m. on the Tuesday prior to the board meeting. Public comments can also be mailed to the Board of Commissioners office, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon 97141. For more information on public comment options, please visit the Board of Commissioners webpage. Do we have anyone signed up in the room or registered online for public comment?
No, we do not, and I just got a message from Commissioner Fournier. He's on his way back.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Well, we will go ahead and get started, and he will be here momentarily. So I'd like to welcome those in the room, invite them to sign the guest list if they've not yet done that, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, we have one non-agenda item, and it's going to be taken after item number 10. So we will go ahead and get started with our presentations and reports. And we're going to start with employee recognition for December 2025, continuous years of service. And we have Kelly Fulton, our HR technician, with us this morning. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great.
Excellent.
All right. It is the time to recognize county employees having anniversaries this month and thank them for their continued service. Our county team is made up of great individuals, and here are the ones we are celebrating in December. Short list today. Yeah. Glenn Watson with Community Corrections, 15 years. Jessica Weber Garcia in juvenile, 12 years. Melissa Glidewell in the library, 6 years. Carrie Munsell, Sheriff's Office, 4 years. Kale Paklakua, Surveyor's Office, 4 years. Ruben Declue, Communications, 2 years. John Kaiser with Parks, 2 years. Jennifer Travis in HHS, 1 year. Teresa Franco Gutierrez, HHS, 1 year. Dr. John Puyer, HHS, 1 year. And Karime Sandoval Flores, HHS, 1 year.
Excellent. Thank you.
And 2 of those are people who have come back.
Oh, that's
yeah,
fun.
Yeah. They couldn't stay away.
That's how we want it to be,
Yes.
right? We say that we want the county to be an employer of choice. So when you come back, that lets you know that we're getting closer to that. So that's awesome.
Okay.
Commissioner comments?
I just want to thank our outstanding staff and to let people know how much we value and appreciate our staff and that the strength of the county is in its employees and the services we provide. We could not provide without our employees. And it's, we've got somebody on here with 15 years, remarkable, really, really strong contributors with 1 year, also remarkable, and I hope that we're celebrating their 15, 14 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Thank you for recognizing people.
Yes, thank you. I agree completely. All right. I think we're ready to move on to our second presentation this morning, which is the Tillamook County Financial Reports with Deborah Jacob, our Director of Financial Services. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Commissioner. We were already underway, so we just,
I appreciate it.
no problem. Everything's good. Okay.
Good.
Happy to hear that. Thank you.
Okay. So what I am presenting this morning is our financial position for quarter one, fiscal year end 2025. How we look at quarterly financials is I am comparing them to previous quarters, and comparing their performance based on the averages of previous. So as we move along into this report covers quarter one, which is July through September 30th of 2025, and compares actual performance to a typical quarter one or average based on the past decade. Because of the seasonal timing of revenues, quarter one generally operates at a net loss, ending in a lower cash balance. This section serves as a summary of the major category reports that follow. Each category performs a comparison of quarter one results to typical quarter one patterns, highlighting how revenues and expenditures align with seasonal trends. The timber category also includes an update through quarter two, offering a more current view of revenues. So the summary, quarter one ended at a net loss of $2 million, or decrease in cash balance from the start of the fiscal year. A typical net loss in quarter one over the last decade has been $2.5 to $2.6 million, which indicates a stronger than usual first quarter performance. The main drivers behind this were timber, came in $811,000 above average for first quarter. Personal services came in at $233,000 below expected or typical quarter one spending, versus the budgeted amount. And materials and services, $292,000 was above typical quarter one spending. So let's dive into each of those categories that were underneath of that summary. Property tax, the county's most stable and predictable general fund revenue source. In quarter one, we received $158,000 in this fiscal year. Last year at the same time, we received $111,000, which is a $47,000 increase. We typically expect 1.8% of budgeted property tax revenue received in quarter one. We received 1.6%, which is slightly below our average, but that is just a timing issue, and only equates to about $16,000. For timber revenue, again, as we said in the summary, the first quarter of this fiscal year, we received $2.3 million in our first quarter, which is $811,000 above average for the first quarter. That's 59% of our budgeted timber revenue for the year. Last year at the same time, we had received $900,000 as a comparison. So that's an increase of $1.38 million, and highlights the volatility of timber revenue. In quarter two, timber distribution was received on October 31st. The general fund share is about $620,000, which is nearly identical to last fiscal year's amount, bringing the total year to date to 75% of the $3.9 million annual budgeted, or $2.9 million this fiscal year. For other revenue, this is a large mixed category, includes charges for services, fines and forfeitures, intercounty charges, interest, intergovernmental revenue, licenses and permits, miscellaneous items, including subpoenas, restitution, loan payments, and assessor collections, and transfers into the general fund. Last fiscal year, we received $1.9 million in this category. This fiscal year, we received $2.48 million. That's an increase of $580,000, which is about 23.6% of our annual budgeted amount in quarter one. Our expected was 20.8%, so a little above expected in quarter one. Drivers behind that increase in the other category revenue was a park support to the general fund transfer in quarter one, which was $250,000. And a transfer from the Revenue Stabilization Fund to the general fund of $250,000, both of which we did not have in last fiscal year's quarter one. Personnel services, so this begins our expense categories. Last fiscal year, quarter one, salaries and benefits equated to 4.28 million. This fiscal year, it was 4.34 million, or a $64,000 increase. So pretty close to last year's same level. This is about 22.3% of our budgeted personnel services. And typically, in quarter one, we spend 23.5% of our budgeted amount. This is related to our ongoing vacancy rate of around 10%, as well as not having our CBA adjustments currently reflected in the GL in quarter one. We do expect to see those quarter two or quarter three as we move forward. Materials and services, this includes transfers out as well. Last fiscal year, we spent 2.77 million in materials and services and transfers out. This fiscal year it was 2.54 million, or a decrease of 200,000. This was 34.8% of our budgeted amount. And we expected around 35%. So we're pretty much right on target with our materials and services and transfers out compared to previous quarter ones. For capital outlay, the spending includes the general fund, building improvement fund, and vehicle reserve fund. For fiscal year on 25, we had spent 74,000 in quarter one. For this fiscal year, it was 53,000, so a little bit of a dip there. Building improvement fund spent 62,000 of the 1.8 million budgeted, and vehicle reserve spent 0 of its 57,000 budgeted. This is around 15.6% of our current fiscal year's budgeted amount. Because of the volatility of, or the timing of capital projects in past decades or past fiscal years, we had spent around 100% of our capital, budgeted capital outlay in quarter one. So the comparison is a timing issue of the capital projects and not due to any deferred maintenance plans. Contingency. There's nothing to report in contingency, which is good and normal. Revenue stabilization. The Revenue Stabilization Fund is our reserve maintained to help address deficits, economic downturn, smooth volatility in timber and other cyclical revenues. In quarter one, transfers to the general fund totaled $250,000 against our 1.2 million budgeted for this fiscal year. In previous fiscal years, quarter ones, we had not transferred revenue stabilization. So this was new to the Revenue Stabilization Fund, and the trend's clearly off. The fund balance is the cumulative general fund position carried forward into each fiscal year. It reflects both the planned cash flow needs for the coming year and the net effect of prior year revenues and expenditures. The key influences, as we looked at in the summary section, was the timber revenue being above average in quarter one, personnel budget to actual variance being below average spending in quarter one, which we know we will see adjustments as we move forward on that, and the revenue stabilization and parks transfers into the general fund that we had not seen historically. So as we see in the chart, this is the beginning fund balance or ending fund balance of the general fund in quarter one of each fiscal year in 21 to fiscal year on 26. You can see that we're above average, especially from 22, 23, and 24 for this last quarter. Finally, the quarterly forecast. So all of that flows into this quarterly forecast as we project that forward. What's included in this quarterly forecast, you can see our seasonality in the revenue cycles and cash flow cycles. That's the stair-step pattern you see. There is color-coded dots, although they're very tiny on here and nearly impossible to see on that screen. In quarter four. Quarter four is what we plan for, the big dip that you see every quarter one. That's the bottom step that you see in our cycle. It's also what we budget off of for the following fiscal year's beginning fund balance. So we have color coded 4 dots on here for this current quarterly forecast. Fiscal year end 26 is in the green. We're looking good as we see this fiscal year end quarter one's ending fund balance was above our projected. We ended at 9.7 million. We had projected 8.7 million. And that has a lot to do with the timber revenue as well as those main drivers that we had talked about, personnel services and materials and services. As we move forward, this adjustment to our increase of our ending fund balance for quarter one rolls forward and looks to have made fiscal year in 2027 out of the at-risk territory. We're above minimum ending cash balance for that in this current quarterly forecast. As we roll forward, we can see that goes down into the at-risk and then below minimum ending fund balance territories. As we move forward into quarter two and quarter three, and we see those CBA adjustments and we see how timber rolls out, I do believe that this projection will go down a little bit, and we'll see how that maps out into the fiscal year in 2027. Okay, that is my presentation.
Thank you, Deborah. Comments and questions, commissioners? I know we've seen this. This is our third time. So, I think it's great. We get a little bit more out of it. I'm guessing each time a little bit more tidbits that grab a hold of us. Questions or comments?
I want to repeat myself in saying that I really appreciate this work. And I'm, as Aaron said, we've seen it a couple times. We saw the quarterly, and this is new for us. It's new for us to have these regular reports, and they're really very helpful to see the quarterly timber receipts, to talk about it monthly with the leadership team, to talk about it monthly amongst ourselves, to have the 5-year overview. It's really clarifies a lot, and I'm grateful for your work, so thank you.
Thank you.
I will echo that and also say, look how good you are at this now. I was so nervous in the beginning, and you were like, it's all hat now. It's like you're a professional presenter. It's fantastic. And I will echo that. What I really like about these two is it's going to allow us to see trending, and also the next time we'll see what the changes we're doing, what kind of differences they're making. We're already seeing that. It's really nice to see that. So this is very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, agree with my colleagues. This is really super helpful, and I love that we are doing, sharing it, as Commissioner Bell said, with the leadership team here at the county, with the budget committee at the county, and now with the public. I think transparency in government is something that we definitely strive for, and being able to have not just, hey, the financials are available if you want them on the website, but to actually say, here is an analysis of our financials and where we stand is exceptionally helpful for us. And I hope it's helpful for the public as well, for those who've often said, I don't want to read 136 pages, for us to be able to say, you don't have to. Deborah's boiled it down for us, and she's put it in charts and graphs. So if you're not a strict numbers person, you can take a look at it just visually as well. So I would just encourage anyone who's watching today who says, well, that's interesting, I want to know more, reach out. This is the people's money, and it's our job to manage it well and provide good services. And this is a really fantastic tool to help us do that. So thank you for your work.
And we gave them 3 bites of the apple because it's been 3 public meetings.
There have been 3 public
So
meetings, correct?
There's a lot of opportunity for the public to see this stuff.
Correct. Yeah, a recording's on our website. I think with the budget. It was
Yeah,
a
the budget
workshop that we
process.
did with the budget committee, which I think was our first slice at it. So probably where the most questions, if you want to know where our initial conversation started, it would be that meeting. And then yes, the leadership team, and now here today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move on to our legislative administrative agenda, item 7. Consideration of an Oregon Parks and Recreation Department local government grant program agreement for the Barview Jetty Park Congestion Reduction Rehabilitation Project. Dan Kais, Director, Parks Department. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Very glad to be here today, and your time, as always, is very much appreciated. Thank you. So this is good news. Parks Department, in conjunction with the Global Grant Services, wrote a grant this last year as part of the what we're calling the Barview Jetty Park Congestion Reduction Rehabilitation Project. A strategic term to help us get money, but it also reflects really what that project is all about. And so, this is with the Oregon Parks and Rec Department, a local government grant program, and it is an agreement, and it's essentially to build a secondary fee collection station that we are currently incorporating into our site plan, which is still under development. That contract with SAI that we're working with is scheduled to be done by the end of this month. So we're a little bit more than halfway, and I can't wait to when it's all done to share it with you to let you know what our plans for. This really is money. Because we had money before in a grant program to do all the design for this project. This is actually, once the design is done, to help construct this particular facility. And so the only thing I really regret on this one is I just wish I would have asked for a lot more money. Primarily because this grant was really difficult, a lot of hoops to get through. Again, it was a learning experience, but the project cost is $39,100. We're going to be getting $31,280 from this grant agreement with our 20% match of $7,820. So we think that'll help us go a long way, and not to mention that this facility is scheduled to be fully ADA accessible, which will be a tremendous improvement on our part. The project is scheduled to be done by December of 27, and the way things are going now, we think that's going to get done way before that. So we're very positive about that outlook. If you have any questions, I'll sure be happy to try to answer those.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Questions or comments, commissioners?
This is good news all around. I think it's wonderful that the project's moving forward. It was one of the first things that we handed to you on your plate on your first day and said, hey, we really want to move forward with this. And you are, and I'm grateful. And it takes a while to bring all the different pieces together, including funding. I'm really grateful that you're writing grants, and as you said, you're in the learning curve. You know, you every time you do it, you're going to learn more. But you're successfully writing and acquiring grant funding for your projects, which is outstanding. And I talked to the folks from SAI Design Build recently. They're super excited about the project. They're so happy to be working with you on it. One of the partners told me, you know, this is a joy for us. This is just the kind of thing we really want to do, and so it's I'm encouraged on every front and grateful for your leadership.
All right, thank you.
I think she said it all.
Okay.
Great one.
Right.
I would have to agree. So thank you, Dan. We appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
I think we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of an Oregon Parks and Recreation Department local government grant program agreement for the Barview Jetty Park Congestion Reduction Rehabilitation Project.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. I think you should rename it. Give it an acronym. That's really long.
Yes. Thank you so much for your support. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, moving on to item number 8. Consideration of the State of Oregon Criminal Justice Commission Grant Agreement TCP-27-47 for the Treatment Court Grant Program. Lieutenant Ani Seaholm from the Sheriff's Office. Good morning, Ani.
Morning, Commissioners. So this is the Criminal Justice Commission Treatment Court Grant that we received $471,737. The completion deadline for the grant is August 31st, 2027. The funds go to various things for the behavioral health court. So it goes from supervision, services, supports, incentives for our participants, team member training. Some of it goes over to Tillamook Family Counseling for their clinician services that are non-billable to OHP. And then some of it also goes to the jail because they assist us with the random UA program for the participants. So
Great.
if there's any questions, I can answer them.
Awesome, thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
I just want to thank you for your work on this. It's the services are essential, vital, and it's through your work that we're able to acquire this grant. So bravo.
Yeah, thanks. I know how hard these grants are for you to work on, and you have so many, so appreciate the effort.
Agree. And the behavioral health court program, as I understand it, has been very successful. You know, we really want to help people get back into the community and be healthy and whole. And the behavioral health court treatment court is a piece of that, recognizing when behavioral health is really as much a barrier as other activities of the individual. So appreciate that. Appreciate the grant program. Appreciate your work. Thank you. We are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of State of Oregon Criminal Justice Commission Grant Agreement TCP-27-47 for the Treatment Court Grant Program.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Ani.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on to item 9, consideration of a professional service agreement with Dowell Engineering and Construction for the Slab Creek Bridge Repair Bundle Project. Chris Laity, Public Works Director. Another mouthful. Chris, you are muted.
Thank you for that. Good morning, Commissioners. We have, Tillamook County has one bridge for every 3 miles of road. So we have quite a few number of bridges. There are 4 of them located on Slab Creek that are in need of doing some repair. They're sub 20 feet, which means they're not eligible for National Bridge Highway money. So these are purely county, so timber bridges, but they are on concrete. Recent inspection of those identified some needs that need to be taken to those. Each of the bridges, of the 4 bridges, the timber sits on top of timber, which sits on top of concrete. The timber sill plates, which is where the timber beams sit on, all of those need to be replaced for each of the 4. So there's 2 per 4. One of the bridges needs a brand new timber deck. So we had done some pre-analysis, taking a look at what needed to be done and what did not need to be done. So for each of the bridges, so we've completed that phase. Now we're ready to put together a construction package and put that out for bid. To do that, we need to create a set of plans. We work with Dowell Engineering on a number of bridges. They are one of our many consultants that we work with for bridges. So their total cost is $47,189.50. That deals with some repair plans for 4 bridges on Slab Creek. I request your approval.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions and concerns?
I just want to make a comment. When we say we don't make bridges, we do make bridges. We build lots and lots of bridges. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank
We
you.
do. What we're really providing is access through bridges.
Yes.
So my question, Chris, is are those bridges on Slab Creek Road or are they off of Slab Creek Road? And are they? I'm just trying to picture them in my head.
So they are on Slab Creek Road. You drive down Slab Creek Road and you cross a number of bridges. There's 4 of them on that road that do need this repair work. I think off the top of my head, we have 6 bridges. Fun fact, Slab Creek used to be part of the highway. So until Cascade Head was built, that was the actual highway.
Interesting.
I've been on that road many, many times because my son had the opportunity to go to Nesquin Valley School for a couple of years, which is up there. And so I've driven that road a lot of times and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the highway, the old highway that goes up and through the forest and comes out at 18, it's really stunning.
Yeah, we did that one time just for fun. It was like, where does this road go? When we first moved here, we did a lot of that. Where does this road go? We just take off driving. So, okay. What struck me was 1 bridge for every 3 miles of road. Until I wrote that down too. I love the fun facts that you have, Chris. You have a number of them. So the number of culverts, the number of bridges, the number of miles, just all those things that I always kind of scribble down to try to remember and use. So, thank you. All right, I think we're ready for a motion.
Chair, I move approval of a professional services agreement with Dowell for engineering and construction for the Slab Creek Bridge Repair Bundle Project.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right, number 10, consideration of a professional service agreement with Shannon and Wilson for geotechnical services for the Nehalem Quarry Exploration Drilling Project. Again, Chris Laity.
So The road department owns and operates and maintains a number of facilities. You know, the one bridge per 3 miles, 4,000 culverts, 360 miles of road, a number of gravel roads, of which we have about 100 miles of gravel road. And some of these they used to be asphalt, but it's deteriorated to the point they're really more gravel. The gravel sources, we own and operate two quarries. One outside of Cloverdale, one up in the North Fork, or not, excuse me, but off the North Fork of Nehalem, North Fork Road. So our North Fork Nehalem quarry is, we have mined it, we've crushed it. So mining, I mean, it's a mine, it's a quarry site, but we take that material, we blast it, it comes off the face, and then we take all that rock and we start crushing it. That work is done by others, but we own and operate that. The material that is then crushed down to the appropriate sizes becomes a gravel for our roads. So this pit up here, we've owned and operated for long as since Tillamook County was almost Tillamook County, not quite that far back. It's time to generate a new stockpile of material. In order to do that, we need to identify what material is so we can report that to DGAMI, Department of Geology and Mineral Industries. I believe that's correct. So this is another step in that process, is to core it. So just like you would drill a water well, we core all the way down to 100 feet to 150 feet. 5 of these up on top of the ridge. Unfortunately, my screen is not really working too well. You can kind of see that ridge that's up there. We would continue to push into that ridge and just continue to extract rock from that. So the total cost on that, which is primarily geotech drilling to get out there, and then the report that would come from that, $96,765. Shannon Wilson is the geotechnical engineer, professional services. They have been the ones that have been involved with previous work on this when we quarried this. Last time we crushed was 2018 or 19. I think it was the winter of 18-19 is when we did our last crushing operation. Any questions?
Thank you. Questions, comments?
No, I just appreciate, I learn something new every time he's on. And it's just funny that, you know, the amount of what it takes for us to do our business is amazing. So I have no questions.
The thing that jumped out for me in what you just said is that, well, A, that we haven't done it since 2018, 2019. B, the cost seems high. However, what I'm guessing, and this is actually a question, what I'd like you to answer, so I don't have to guess, is how much we save by producing our own rock. So we produced rock in 2018 or 2019. It has lasted 7 years. And how much did we save over having to buy it from somewhere else?
So rough number is, with us crushing it, it's half the cost of what it would be from somebody else. Because that quarry is so far north, we do have a tendency to purchase gravel in South County. Our pit that's in South County is it's not producing, I mean, it's still producing materials, but it's not producing good quality rock. So instead of driving from Nehalem with our gravel trucks all the way down to South County, we are oftentimes purchasing gravel from a local pit down there.
Okay.
About half the cost.
All right. Half is good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate how we're constantly looking at what's most efficient, right? We could just take our gravel south and not do the sort of calculations to say, what does it cost us to drive it south? Is that the best use of time, vehicles, people, cost, et cetera? So thank you for the work you do, Chris. And I just learned that we own 2 quarries.
Here you go.
If someone had asked me, I would have said maybe. Let me check. So now I know the answer to that one too.
Right, because we haven't had to do it for
Right.
6 or 7 years.
Yeah, so I've been here since 2021, and obviously we have not done a study, and I didn't realize we were crushing, so that's great. Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a professional services agreement with Shannon and Wilson for geotechnical services for the Nehalem Quarry Exploration Drilling Project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we will take our unscheduled item now, which is consideration of Amendment 0004 to the United States Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration Funds Transfer Agreement Number 69056720K500003, Western Federal Lands Highway Division for the Cape Mears Relocation Project. Chris?
So the Cape Mears Loop Road has been built. It's actually Cape Mears Loop. We tend to add the word road at the end of it, but Cape Mears Loop, the new one, has been built. What this extension does, it doesn't add any money to it. There's no additional scope of work. What it does is extend the agreement out to December 31st of 2026. And the reason why that extension is that gives them a little bit more time to work through the finances. So there's a lot of dollar signs and how does the federal government process that. So they're just needing more time on their end to make that determination. We're responsible for a little over 10% of that. We think that Federal Highway thinks that they're under budget from that, which means we should be receiving a little bit more money back from that. It is possible that that's what we anticipate. It's not going to be much. It is possible as they go through their internal auditing that we may end up owing a little bit more, but we're pretty close. And at the end of construction, we were ahead of the curve in the positive. So we're hoping we actually get some money back.
Great. That would be fantastic. Questions or comments, Commissioner?
I don't have any.
It would be fantastic and extraordinary for the nicest road in the county for us to actually be under budget and get money back. Wow.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who hasn't driven that road should go drive that road. And there's also a video that I think is on the Visit Tillamook Coast website, which is really awesome, and it's all about the making of that road. So if you're watching today and you're thinking, Cape Mears Loop, where's that? 2 ways to do it. You can get in your car and drive over there, or you can go to Visit Tillamook Coast and find it on their website. Very cool video. So, all right, I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of an amendment 0004 to the United States Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration Funds Transfer Agreement Number 690-56720K500003, Western Federal Lands Highway Division for the Cape Mears Relocation Project.
I second.
We have a motion. I think we should. No, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item 11, which is consideration of Amendment 2 to Non-Exclusive Communication Site License Number 4294 with Tillamook County Emergency Communications District for the removal of two-wire telephone circuits. Ruben DeClue, Communications Systems Administrator. Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rachel, Bill, nice to see you all. It was brought to my attention by 911 John Spence that there was some old POTS lines, which are the publicly owned telephone system, Ma Bell style language that was probably carried over from the 80s into a contract and an agreement to provide some old copper lines up there. They were tied into the microwave system and have been unused by myself in the last 2 years. And my predecessor has said he doesn't remember ever using them. And I think he was here for almost 10 years. And ultimately what it was just an expense to the 911 and ultimately the taxpayers to keep those phone lines active. And so that they requested that they be removed. And the reason I'm in favor of it is I carry 3 phones on my person, one work, one personal, a sat phone. And I have 3 portables, mobiles, and all kinds of radio communication equipment. Plus, we all have additional phones tied into the microwave system for point-to-point contact. So I was just here to say that it's not a bad idea just to remove that requirement in the amendment.
All right.
If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioners?
I have none for Ruben.
No, so just for my clarity, because this is the first time I'm learning about this, which I also love about this job. We learn new things every day. There's no use for this system. It's outdated. No one uses it for any reason.
I have never used it.
Okay.
And plus, the cord's like 6 feet. It's not the 80s style. I need a 20-foot cord to walk around the building if I'm going to use it anyway.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. And before you leave, I want to say congratulations on 2 years of service. We celebrated your 2-year anniversary with us as an employee. We're so grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
All right, I have no questions. I appreciate finding costs that can be saved for the taxpayer, so thank you for that work.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Amendment 2 to Non-Exclusive Communications Site License 4294 with Tillamook County Emergency Communications District for the removal of two two-wire telephone circuits.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on to item 12, consideration of a professional services agreement with J.N. Hartsock Project Management for the Public Safety Radio System Upgrade Management Project. Rachel Hegarty, Chief Administrative Officer. Good morning, Rachel.
Did you want to stay for this?
And maybe Ruben.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just by way of update on where we are with the radio project, following the voters' approval of the radio bond, we began the solicitation of proposals, submitted an RFP. We received 2 proposals from qualified proposers, and we're currently negotiating with the top proposer. I expect to be presenting to you in about 2 weeks an item for consideration of the next step of that process. Before you today is a renewal contract, essentially, with John N. Hartsock for his project management leading this project. He's doing an amazing job. He's a great project manager. He's a technical expert. He can talk everything that needs to be talked about with the vendor and federal engineering. And he's just really doing a great job. And so the first contract with him was signed in June. I think it was June. And it is sunsetting at the end of this calendar year. And so this is a renewal for next year. The scope of work includes all of the things that go through construction, bidding, testing, which is still a couple of years in time. But so the scope is comprehensive, but this is just for the next calendar year. And this $96,000 contract will be paid out of the radio bond funds. It's ready for your consideration.
Excellent. Questions or comments, Commissioners? Or Ruben, since you're staying with us, anything you'd like to share?
I'd like to second what Rachel said. What John has brought has really freed up me being able to just go and do my job on the sites. His communication with all the site owners and the vendors themselves has been so helpful, way above my head. His background and his connections already with pre-existing systems and site owners, and it has been instrumental, huge.
Excellent. Thank you. Love the vote of confidence. Commissioners? Any other?
I support renewing this contract because obviously we need it, and I'm so glad to hear that it's going really well. And also I'll say as an aside that the timing is good because I had lunch yesterday with former Commissioner Olson, who quizzed me about the project, wanted to know what interest rate we got for the bond. I said, I'll have to ask Rachel. And also wanted to know where we were at with the bid, so I'll be able to update him.
I have nothing.
Okay, great. No, I'm delighted this is moving forward. I'm delighted that when we did sell the radio bond, we did well and have plenty of money to do this, which is fantastic.
All right, Madam Chair, I move approval of a professional services agreement with J.N. Hartsock Project Management for the Public Safety Radio System Upgrade Management Project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Whoops.
Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
Thank you,
We're
Ruben.
leaving this time.
You're welcome to stay. Okay, item 13, consideration of a professional services agreement with CERTA Building Solutions for the courthouse roof design and construction phase consulting. Rachel.
We need a new roof. It is well past its serviceable life. We continue to get leaks in the courthouse every year, often in new locations, which causes damage in the courthouse. The scan showed that a good portion of the roof is wet under the surface of it. A lot of the water is coming in horizontally through the parapet. So we need a new roof. We've been working with a consultant, CERTA Building Solutions, to help us navigate this process. Before you is a contract for $38,100 to hire CERTA to be our architect of record going through the process. This would be paid out of the budgeted Building Improvement Fund 301. The solution is to remove the entire roof assembly, assess and repair if there's any damage to the structural deck that may need to be repaired, install 14,500 square feet of new PVC roofing membrane, and then about 2,000 square feet of overclad over the parapet to keep that water intrusion from happening. The estimated cost that CERTA has provided us for the roof replacement itself is about $650,000, and that would also be paid out of the budgeted building improvement fund. So upon execution of this contract, CERTA would start with the design process, and they are our project manager going through bidding, permitting, and construction, which is slated to be next summer. So they are ready to go. This is the time of year when you lock up contractors for the following year. It's ready for consideration.
Thank you, Rachel. Questions or comments, commissioners?
Well, we need a new roof, absolutely. Yeah, there's just, there's no getting around it, and if, I'm sure I'm not the only one who balks at the price, but that's the price for a roof, and we can't live without it, so, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, we have, as we've learned in our budget, we haven't spent a lot of money on capital improvements. This is something that we need to get done, because once you let that water in, it's done. So
Correct.
painful but necessary.
Thank you for supporting a significant investment in the capital expenses, because it has been deferred, you're right.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's part of our stewardship. We can't let the building crumble.
Yeah, it is a 1932 building, which is challenging. And certainly there have been efforts and ideas and thoughts and plans in the past to try to determine if a replacement building could be done. The cost of that is absolutely exorbitant. So the repairs and maintenance on this building absolutely must be prioritized to maintain it. It is where we provide the space for the circuit courts, as is mandated by the state of Oregon for us to do. It currently also provides a huge amount of space for county services to the public, and it's super important that we do this roof. On a tangential piece, we've also just applied for, or in the process of applying for a grant through the Oregon Justice Department for ADA improvements and some additional HVAC and other pieces that impact our court systems. So we have our fingers crossed that that will also be possible, and that will be done with grant funds. But the roof itself at this time has to come from money we have set aside in the past for this type of work, and we just can't put it off. So, agreed.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a professional services agreement with CERTA Building Solutions for the courthouse roof design and construction phase consulting.
1 second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, item 14, consideration of an order in the matter of adopting fiscal year 2025-2026 financial strategies and guidance. Rachel.
We've been talking about this board order for months, and here it is, ready for your consideration. If I may just read it into the record, I think it provides all the background nicely. The Tillamook County, so in the matter of adopting fiscal year 25-26 financial strategies and guidance, the Tillamook County Strategic Plan 2024-2028 identifies finance as a focus area essential to maintaining long-term government stability and public trust. Pursuant to that plan, the county is actively evaluating and improving its financial processes, policies, and reporting practices in order to strengthen operational effectiveness and overall financial condition. The county has initiated a financial assessment and is developing a financial strategic plan to guide future budgeting, financial decision-making, and resource allocation. The Board of Commissioners recognizes the importance of adopting clear financial strategies and guidance to support responsible stewardship of public funds to ensure alignment with the strategic plan and articulating those strategies and guidance for fiscal year 25-26. Now, therefore, it is hereby ordered that for fiscal year 25-26, the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners adopts and affirms the following financial strategies and guidance. First, county leaders are expected to take a comprehensive and proactive approach to ensure the overall health of the county budget and operations. The county will maintain a fiscally conservative approach in all financial and operational practices to the greatest extent possible. The county will pursue and implement technological advancements that improve efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. All county departments shall obtain prior approval from the Board of Commissioners for any increase in spending authority to the department's overall adopted budget. Additionally, any transfer of greater than 10% between the major expenditure categories, for example, personal services, materials and services, capital outlay, within a department's overall budget also requires prior approval from the Board of Commissioners. In circumstances requiring expenditure reductions, the county will give due consideration to all options, with personnel retention being the priority. Vacant positions will be evaluated and refilled in a strategic and timely manner, consistent with organizational priorities and fiscal capacity, and in accordance with the county's recruitment process framework if developed. The Director of Financial Services and Chief Administrative Officer will maintain regular communication with the Budget Committee, leadership team, employees, and union representatives regarding county financial matters. Monthly financial reports will be presented and quarterly work sessions will be convened. A transfer of $1 million shall be made from the Parks Department, Fund 132, to the General Fund, Fund 010, to support countywide operational needs. Simultaneously, $1 million in transient lodging tax revenues, Fund 121, shall be transferred to the Parks Department, Fund 132, to support its budgeted operations as a tourism-related facility. This order shall remain in effect until June 30, 2026, at which time it shall automatically expire unless renewed or extended by subsequent action of the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
I know a lot of this work started before I came here, but I love this. Like, I think this is, I appreciate all the work Rachel, you've done on this, but I think as a 22-year county employee prior to being in this seat, this is fantastic transparency. I love that this we're kind of showing our philosophy. We're putting it in paper so people know we put employees first. I think that's huge for morale and longevity, keeping people here. I think it's responsible. And I think, again, people want to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. This is it's a document to look at. So I'm excited about this.
Thank you.
Thank you. As am I. I'm really grateful for all of your work, Deborah's work, and the work of the leadership team and the budget committee. All of this started a while ago for us to establish our framework from which we will move forward and transform our financial system. And this is essential to that. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for pulling it together and bringing it forward.
Yeah, and I share the thanks of my colleagues. This really is the culmination of a lot of work, and it's still only, the beginning phases of the work, right? But there's already been a ton behind this, starting with our strategic plan, working with our leaders to determine what was really crucial for the county. Financial planning and budgeting was one of those things identified, not only by commissioners, but by leaders. And this is a step forward for us to give those leaders the guidance they need as they create their budgets and as we go forward in the fiscal year. So this is a really important document. I expect over time there will be one every year, and that they may get more specific. And we're all learning an awful lot about how to use our financial data much more effectively going forward, how to help our leaders use it more effectively, how to give them the guidance they need. And this document is I would say, the foundation of that work. So thank you for the work to put it together, and very pleased to have it.
I just want to say this is, to your point, this shows the collaborative efforts that we're doing now, where everybody has to say, all the leaders, the budget committee, bringing them in, they were once a year thing used to be. Now we're leaning on them a little heavily, which is great. So I can't say enough. So
All right, thank you. We're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 25-066 in the matter of adopting fiscal year 2025-2026 financial strategies and guidance.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, do we have any board concerns today?
Not for me.
I don't have any today.
I would just share that I had the pleasure of being at the South County Chamber banquet last night. The featured speaker was former Senator Betsy Johnson, which is always a joy to have the opportunity to hear her speak and to visit with her. I also was the chauffeur for former Commissioner Jerry Dove, so I was in good company in Commissioner Land. And the really fabulous piece to that was that our very own Doug Olson and his wife Patty were recognized as Citizens of the Year. And in fact, it was interesting because Jeremy said, this should have been a lifetime award, but that's not what we give here. So please see it as a lifetime award. So Doug and Patty, as some of you may know, have since relocated out of the county. They are in Crook County, have a wonderful new home, and are enjoying being on the other side of the mountains, it sounds like. But it was really delightful to be able to be there as they were honored by their community of about 30 years, I think. Doug said he'd been the chamber president and involved at some level for 27 years, which was about since the chamber started down there. So again, delightful to be able to be there and share that moment with the community and to honor them. So,
I'm so glad you were there, and congratulations to Doug and Patty.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, so with no other board concerns in front of us, we are going to have an executive session. I do not believe we will come out and make any decisions today. So I'm going to go ahead and read our meetings and announcements so that folks don't feel like they need to hang around and as we do our executive session work. So the commissioners will hold a board briefing on Wednesday, December 3rd at 2 p.m. to discuss weekly commissioner updates. The meeting will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 in the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. The commissioners will attend a public hearing on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. regarding a series of legislative text amendments for residential and commercial zones of the Neocani community, including County Land Use Ordinance Middle Housing Code updates. The hearing will be held at the Port of Tillamook Bay Conference Room, 4000 Blunt Boulevard, Tillamook. The teleconference number for this public hearing is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 887-242-77#. With that, we will go into executive session for under ORS.
Two.
Okay.
We have two. The first is 192-660 sub 2 sub H to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. And the second is ORS 192-660 sub 2 sub E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions.
Perfect. Thank you. With that, we will recess this meeting at 9:59 a.m. The goodbye. Okay, great. We have come out of our executive session at 11:24. We will reopen this board meeting at 11:24 and adjourn the board meeting at 11:24.